if you check the chat box, I have given the attendance format. It is name slash section slash class roll number. All of you, please give your attendance in that format only. So it
Sir,
is,
in the chat box.
yes, in the chat box, I have given the format name slash section slash class roll number.
No, okay, okay.
Second time, this is first attendance. Second attendance will be through Google form that will be given in the AutoCAD drawing class. And then we will verify whether you are present in both the classes or not. Accordingly, the entire attendance will be given to you for this class. Okay, so let us start the class. Give me a minute so that I will present my screen. And when you are not speaking anything, please keep your mic off, or else it will create a problem. Okay. Can you see my slides? If anyone can respond.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So today officially we will start the first class of engineering hand drawing. So before starting the hand drawing lab assignments, you need to know some basic concepts related to this hand drawing. So in today's class, we will be covering all those basic concepts. The first basic concept which you should know for hand drawing class is the type of drawing papers that we use in engineering drawing. Normally, drawing papers vary from A0 size to A5 size. A5 size is the most smallest size and A0 size is the most biggest size. How we can convert an A0 size paper into A5 size paper? The standard dimension of A0 size paper is 841 mm into 1189 mm. And remember, in drawing, we will always represent the dimension in terms of mm. We will not use meter, we will not use centimeter, we will not use any other unit except in the first problem of the first lab assignment. In all other cases, always we will represent my drawing in terms of mm. Fine. So the dimension of A0 size paper is 841 mm into 1189 mm. Since it is a rectangular size paper, so we know that the area of rectangle is what? Length into breadth. So your breadth is 841 mm and your length is 1189 mm. How you can convert an A0 size paper into an A1 size paper and so on? There are two ways. The first way is either you can reduce the length, either you can make the length half, or you can double the width. Again, I am repeating. Either you can make the length half, or you can double the width. If I am making the length half, 1189 divided by 2 is how much? 594 mm. Then for A1 size paper, this 594 becomes the width and 841 becomes the length. Similarly, again, if you want to convert an A1 size paper into A2 size paper, what you have to do? Either you can reduce the length by half, or you can double the width, but you cannot do simultaneously both the things at a time. If you are dividing the length by half, throughout you will divide the length of the drawing sheet by half while converting from A0 to A5 size paper. Or else if you are doubling the width, then throughout you have to double the width while converting an A0 size paper into A5 size paper. So if I want to convert A1 into A2, what I have considered, I was initially halving the length. So in A1 size paper, length is 841 mm and width is 594 mm. Let us halve the length. 841 by 2 is how much? 841 by 2 is how much? It is 420 mm. Then for A2 size paper, width is 420 mm and length is 594 mm and so on. Is the process clear? Conversion of A0 size paper into A5 size paper?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Fine.
sir.
Okay. Normally, the normal copy which you use for your writing purposes, that is A4 size copy whose dimension is 210 mm into 297 mm. But in drawing, we will be using A1 size sheet. This is the standard sheet of drawing paper, which is 594 mm into 841 mm. This is an important question you should keep in mind. Any doubt in this slide?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Sir,
Yes. Any
What
doubt?
what will be the dimension of our sketchbook?
You can take sketchbook of size either A3 or A2.
Okay, sir.
Because the problem is that if you take an A4 size sketchbook, there may be a case where the drawing is very big, very large. Then in that A4 size drawing copy, it will not accommodate. So better either you take A3 or you can take A2. Is it okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Fine. Next is about lettering and numbering. Why I require this lettering and numbering? If you see, oftenly in engineering drawing, we need to draw some engineering curves. We need to draw some engineering object. For example, if I have drawn a circle, if I have drawn a circle, this is what? This is a circle. How I know that this is a circle? I have to give a naming to the drawing. Without naming, the drawing is useless. You have drawn something, but you have not given the heading of that drawing. Then how a person will understand what you have drawn? So the naming is important. In order to name the drawing, we should know the concept of lettering and numbering. What is the concept? The concept is the height of each letter as well as each number should be 5 units. Each unit is equivalent to 1 millimeter. So 5 unit will be equivalent to how much? 5 mm. Now you cannot draw a 5 mm length vertical line by the help of scale. So what you have to do? You have to scale it up. You can represent that 5 mm length by a 2 centimeter line. You can represent this 5 mm height by a 1 centimeter line, by a 3 centimeter line. Yes or no?
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Say
sir.
Fine.
again, sir, please.
Repeat, please. In order to see any drawing is incomplete if you don't give the heading to the drawing. Fine. How to give the heading? You cannot write normally in cursive handwriting that this is a circle. You cannot write this diagram like this circle. In your running hand, you cannot write like this. There is a rule to give the heading to this diagram. There is a rule how I can write a circle. If you have drawn a triangle, how a people will know that this is a triangle? You have to give the heading. You have to write triangle. You cannot write triangle in your running hand. There is a specific rule in drawing. What are those rules? Those rules are any numeric value or any alphabetical value, the vertical height should be equivalent to 5 unit. Each unit is equivalent to 1 millimeter. So 5 unit is equivalent to 5 millimeter. Now it is not possible for anyone to draw a 5 millimeter vertical straight line by the help of scale. For that, what you will do? You will convert the scale. That means you can represent that 5 mm line by a 2 centimeter line. You can represent that 5 mm line by a 3 centimeter line. You can represent that 5 mm line by a 5 centimeter line. That means you have to either scale it down or you have to either scale it up. Now is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So each letter or each number is having a vertical height of how much? 5 mm. Fine. And if you see the length, this is the, say if I talk about A, if I talk about A, see the length of A is how much? This is 1 unit, 1 plus 1 2 plus 1 3 plus 1 4. That means this length of A is 4 unit, height of A is 5 unit. Similarly B, height of B, this height of B is 5 unit equal to 5 mm. And what is the length of B? It is 1 2 3, near about 3 units, near about 3 unit. But there are some exceptions. What is the exception? CF. Height of F is 5 unit, but the length of F is 3.5 unit. CJ. Height of J is 1, 2, 3, 4. Then from fourth unit, there is a little bit a curved line is there. Fine. See the length of J. Length of J is around 3 units. Fine. So it is difficult to remember for each and every letter, for each and every number, what is the height. Height is almost same, but length, it is very difficult to remember the length, because C is not uniform. C is a curved line. G is not uniform. G is a curved line. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Fine. So what we will do in general is that once you have drawn your drawing, after the drawing is complete, just below the drawing, you have to give the heading to the drawing. How you will give? You know the height. Height is how much? Height is fixed always. That is 5 unit, which is equivalent to 5 mm. So you will take a suitable scale. I am taking, say, a scale of 2 centimeter. Vertical height is 2 centimeter. So what I will do? So first I will draw a horizontal line, very thin horizontal line by H pencil. It should not be visible to you. In between these two horizontal lines, you have to give the heading. Fine. What will be the height? Height is up to you. That 5 mm line, it can be a 2 centimeter. This height can be 2 centimeter. It can be 1 centimeter. But don't give this height too much, or else you will not be having enough space to draw your diagram. Better keep this height as one in between. Maximum go this height till 2 centimeter, not more than that. Then in between these two lines, you have to write C. Everything in capital letters. Cursive is not allowed. I, R, C, L, E. Likewise, you have to give the heading to each of the drawing, whatever you are drawing, whatever drawing you are drawing. Fine. But remember one thing, there should be a gap of at least point 0.5, not point, yes, 0.5 centimeter. Convert it into mm. Normally we talk everything in mm. So 0.5 centimeter will be how much mm? 0.5 centimeter is how much mm?
Five. Five.
5
5
units.
mm. So keep one thing in mind. In between two letters, there should be a gap of 5 mm. If you have
So
not
five
maintained,
units.
sorry,
So 5 units.
5, each unit is equivalent to 1 mm. Each unit
Yes,
is
sir.
equivalent to 1 mm, but intermediate spacing between the two letters should not be more than 0.5 centimeter.
Okay, okay, sir.
Should not be more than 0.5 centimeter. That means distance between C and I should not be more than 0.5 centimeter. Distance between I and R should not be more than 0.5 centimeter, and so on. And this vertical height should not be more than 2 centimeter. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Fine. See, these two horizontal lines you have to draw with either H pencil or 2H pencil. Why? Because it should not be highlighted. What will be highlighted? Only your heading will be highlighted. So the heading will be drawn with HB pencil, and these two horizontal line, which is a supporting drawing, in order to in order to write the heading, that you have to draw with H pencil. Any doubt in this lettering and numbering concept?
No, sir.
It is
No, sir.
applicable for numeric value as well as it is applicable for alphabetical value. Okay,
Yes, sir.
fine. So this was the concept of lettering and numbering in engineering drawing, and this you have to follow for all the assignments. All the lab assignments for all the drawings you have to follow. Okay, next. Next is the different types of lines that we use in engineering drawing. Many lines are there. Each line is having some importance. That means when to use this first line, when to use this second line, when to use this third line in my drawing. Fine. That we will study in this slide. We don't require this 8th and 9th number line. So we will not discuss. In this particular, in this semester, in this subject, we will not be using this 8th and 9th line. So we will not discuss these two lines. Fine. We will be requiring lines starting from serial number 1 to serial number 7. What is the first line? The first line is continuous thick line. That is a dark line. Continuous thick line, dark line. Can you observe the difference between the thickness of the first serial number line and the second serial number line?
Yes, sir.
Fine. First one is very thick. Second one is very thin. Fine. So when I will use this continuous thick line, I will use for outline purpose. If you have drawn anything, the outline of the drawing will be drawn by this continuous thick line. For example, I have drawn a triangle. Now the three sides of triangle is what? It is nothing but the outline of this diagram. So this outline will be drawn with this continuous thick line. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Fine. What is continuous thin line? You have to use this line when you are drawing a dimension line, or you are drawing an extension line, or you are drawing a construction line, hatching line, or leader line. For example, I have drawn this triangle. Assume that this is side A, this is B, this is C. Now BC is having some length, say the length is 10 mm. how you will how you will show that length? From C, you have to draw an extension line like this, vertically downward. From B, you have to draw an extension line like these. These two lines are called extension line. For that, you have to use continuous thin line. In between, you have to draw what? You have to draw a dimension line, which is exactly parallel to line BC. And then you have to give an arrowhead on both the ends. Now this particular line is known as dimension line, for which you have to use continuous thin line. Is it clear? Any
Yes,
doubt?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Fine, okay. And what is this leader line and hatching line? This I will explain in the next slide. Fine. Third one is continuous thin wavy line. Some zigzag, some curve, say some sinusoidal curve kind of nature. Where we use these lines? It is used for short break lines or irregular boundaries. For example, assume that this is point A and this is point B. If distance between point A and B is very small, if A and B are very near, then I will join AB by this continuous thin wavy line like this. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Or
Yes,
irregular
sir.
boundaries. Irregular boundary means if the boundary of any drawing is not regular, there is an unevenness is there, then you have to use this continuous thin wavy line. Is it clear?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Next is continuous thin line with zigzag, where we will use for long break line. That means if I am having 2 points, this is your point A and this is your point B. If the distance between point A and B is very large, say distance between A and B is 900 kilometers. Distance is very large. In order to join AB, you will use continuous thin line with zigzag. That means A and B will be joined by a line like this. Is
Excuse
it
me, sir.
clear?
What is the break line?
Yes.
Sir, can you explain what is the break line?
Break line means there is a break. See, there is a breakage in between the lines. There is a break. Why there is a break? Because distance between A and B is very long. I cannot use one single line over there. So you draw a line, then break the line. Then draw a line and then break the line. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Then, sir,
Yes,
why do
sir.
we use a break line for short distances?
We don't use long break lines for short distances. For short distances, we use short break lines. For long distances, we use long break lines. If distance between A and B is 10 kilometers, you cannot use long break lines. You have to use short break lines, that is thin wavy lines. But if the distance between A and B is 900 kilometers, you cannot use short break lines. You have to use long break lines. These are sign conventions. These are symbols, standard symbols for engineering drawing. Is it okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Fine. Next is short dashed line. What is short dashed line? It is a hidden line. That means the line is like this, dash, 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 dash. When I will use this hidden line, I will use this hidden line when the object is not visible to me, when the part of the object is not visible to me. For example, can you see my mobile phone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This mobile phone is having two face. One is this face, second one is this face. Fine. If I see this mobile phone from the front side, I can see this face, but I cannot see this back face. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
But the back face is present in the mobile. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I have to represent that back face by some line since it is present. For that, you have to use dash 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 line. Now it is clear.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Yes.
sir.
Yes, sir.
That means if you have drawn one drawing, if in that drawing from one view, that view can be a front view, that view can be a top view. If you are observing any drawing from the front side, definitely the back side will not be visible to you, but the back side is there. You have to represent that back side in your drawing. For that, you use dash 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 line. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Similarly, if you are observing any drawing from the top side, definitely the bottom side will not be visible to you, but bottom side is present. The extreme two, left hand side and right hand side will not be visible to you, but left hand side and right hand side is present in the drawing. For that we use dash lines. Now it is, I hope it is clear.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Fine? Okay.
Yes.
Next is long chain lines. What is long chain line? Normally we represent a central line. Normally we represent a central line by a long chain line. For example, I have drawn a square. Assume that this is a square. Definitely square is having some center. Assume that this is the center. Fine. Then there is a central line in the square. That central line will be represented by dash dot dash dot dash line. That means dash dot dash dot dash dot dash line. From the vertical axis, from the horizontal axis, dash dot dash dot dash dot dash dot dash line. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
If you want to represent
Yes, sir.
the central line of any object, we use this dash dot line. It is also, yes, it is known as central line or long chain lines. Fine. Next is the seventh one.
Can you please explain it once?
Can you please explain it once? If you are having any object, if in that object you want to represent the central line of that object. For example, I am having a square. Square is having some center. From that center, one central line will pass. That central line is represented by this long chain lines, which is nothing but dash, dot, dash, dot, dash line. Clear? Any doubt?
No, sir.
Fine. Next
Sir, what?
is the last one is long chain, thin but thick at the end. We will use this particular line for cutting plane line. This line, how it will look? Dash. It will be thick. Extreme dash will be thick. Then dot. Then it will be thin. Dash, dot, dash, dot. And the last extreme end will be very thick. It is written. See, long chain line, long chain, thin line, but thick at the end. This is one end, this is second end. Fine. So how, when I will use this line? When I will use this line? Assume that I am having a cone. This is a cone. Yes or no? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir.
If I cut this cone, if I cut this cone parallel to x-axis at a distance of say 50 mm from the bottom, then this is the bottom. This is the bottom end of the cone. From bottom end, this is the axis of the cone represented by dash dot central line dash dot dash dot dash. Fine. So at a distance of 50 mm from the bottom, if I cut a cone parallel to x-axis, that means assume that this particular distance from the bottom is 50 mm. This is 50 mm. Fine. That means at a distance of 50 mm, you are cutting this object and then you are looking what is the shape of the object. So the cutting line or the cutting plane line is represented by this long chain thin but thick at the end line. That means this is dash very thick, in between dot, very thin dash line, dot, very thin dash line, then at the extreme other end point it will be a thick line. With this line I understood that I am cutting a cone at a distance of 50 mm from the bottom parallel to x-axis. That means this much portion is removed. This much portion is removed. This much portion of the cone is left, and I am observing the shape of the cone. For that, I will use this cutting plane line. Now, is it clear to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And this
Yes,
we
sir.
will be requiring in the third assignment. This cutting plane line we will be requiring in the third assignment. That means after cutting any object, what is the shape of that object? That means what is the top view of object? What is the front view of object? What is the left hand side view? What is the right hand side view? After cutting that object from some angle, at some angle, or parallel to x-axis or parallel to y-axis, and so on. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next, I told you that this line is left. That is leader line and hatching line. What is leader line? Leader line is used to represent the dimension of a circle. How? I have drawn a circle. I have drawn a circle. I know that a circle is represented by either with its radius or by diameter. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Fine. I can represent circle either by radius or by diameter. Assume that the circle which I have drawn, it is having a radius of 25 mm. So how I will represent in drawing? First, locate the center point. Assume that this is the center point of the circle C. From this center point, draw an inclined radius line. This is an inclined radius line. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Fine.
Yes, sir.
Then at the end point, draw arrowhead. Draw arrowhead. I have shown you just now what is an arrowhead. Arrowhead. This is an arrowhead. This is an arrowhead. Fine. Draw the arrowhead. then extend this line, extend this inclined line upward somewhat. That somewhat length is maximum 2 centimeter. This somewhat length is maximum 2 centimeter, not more than that. From this end point, draw a horizontal line parallel to x-axis to somewhat length. Again, this somewhat horizontal length should not be more than 2 centimeter. Fine. Then above this horizontal line, you have to write, since this circle is represented with the help of radius, and radius of the circle is 25 centimeter. So I will write capital R 25 to 5. By this, designer will understand that this is a circle whose radius is 25 mm. If in the question the radius of the circle is in centimeter, you have to convert in mm, because in drawing we represent each and every dimension in terms of mm. And this particular line, which line? This particular horizontal line, this line is known as your leader line. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Now
Yes, sir.
this is a circle when I have represented circle in terms of radius. If I want to represent circle in terms of diameter, what I will do? Again, this is a circle. Locate the center point of the circle C. If the radius of the circle is 25 mm, what will be its diameter? What will be its diameter?
50 mm. Sir, 50 mm.
Diameter is 50 mm. How I will represent? By the help of leader line. For that, if you remember, while drawing this radius, we have drawn an inclined radius line. Here I am representing the same circle in terms of diameter. So what I will do? I will draw an inclined diameter line. That means like this. This is an inclined diameter line. Yes or no? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Fine.
Yes, sir.
If you remember, in radius, you have drawn arrowhead. In inclined diameter line, also you have to give the arrowhead. But this time, you have to give the arrowhead at this end as well as at this end. Fine. So, draw an arrowhead. Draw an arrowhead. Then, either you take this particular arrowhead or you take this particular arrowhead, anyone. Again, extend this line to somewhat length. You know what is this somewhat length? Maximum 2 centimeter. From this end, again you draw a horizontal line of somewhat length. Again, this somewhat length will be maximum 2 centimeter. Above this horizontal line, you will write 5. 550. By this, a designer will understand that you have drawn a circle whose diameter is 50 mm, because diameter is represented by symbol phi and radius is represented by symbol capital R. Again, this particular line is known as your leader line. So whenever in a drawing, if any circular dimension is given, you have to give the dimension like this. Any doubt so far?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Sir,
Fine. Okay.
sir,
Yes.
sir, here the central line is in solid line. Why is it not in the short dash? Sorry, long chain lines.
I am not, see, this is the central line. This is the center line of circle. dash dot dash dot dash line. If I consider the horizontal axis, if I consider the vertical axis, this is the center line of the circle. But I have not drawn a central line. I have drawn an inclined diameter line and inclined radius line. This is not the central line. Can you guess the difference? Can you identify the difference?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Last is this hatching line. What is this hatching line? If you remember, I have drawn a cone and I have cut the cone. In order to cut the cone, I will use cutting plane line. That means thick at the end, in between dot, very thin line dash, dot, very thin line dash, and again thick at the end. This is your cutting plane line. After cutting this cone, what you can see? You can see the bottommost part. This much portion you cannot see because it has been removed. Yes or no? Hello.
Yes, sir.
It is removed. So if I draw the remaining part of the cone, it will look like this. Yes or no? It will look like this. If you observe
Yes, sir.
this cone from the top side, but if you observe this cone from the front side, it will look like this. You can see only a straight line from the front side. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Fine. So from the top side, when you are observing this cone, this portion is what? This portion is the cut portion of the cone. This is what? This is the cut portion of the cone. This cut portion of the cone is represented by hatching line like this. This is the hatching line, and there is a rule to draw this hatching line. What is that rule? That rule is, say this is the cut part of any object. Hatching line should be at an angle of 45 degree with respect to x-axis. This is my x-axis. With respect to x-axis, the hatching line should be at an angle of 45 degree. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
One
sir.
more thing you need to keep in mind. Intermediate distance between the two hatch line should not be more than 1 centimeter. I should not say 1 centimeter. What I should say? It should not be more than 1 centimeter is wrong. I have
5
to
10 millimeter. 10 millimeter.
10
5.
millimeter. Intermediate distance between two hatch lines should not be more than 10 millimeter. This you have to keep in mind. Is it clear? Any
Yes,
doubts
sir.
so far?
Sir, can't they be joined?
No, this is you cannot join. This is a rule in engineering drawing. You cannot join it. You cannot draw this line like this. Like this you cannot draw. This is a rule. Is it okay? Any doubt?
No, sir.
No,
Fine.
sir.
So these things you have to keep in mind in all the hand drawing assignments. I will not discuss each and every time what is this line, what is that line, what should be the distance between these two lines. While drawing each and every drawing, you have to keep all these things in mind. So that's why I have told you that today I will discuss the basic concepts which you have to remember every time while drawing or while doing the hand drawing part. Okay. Any doubt? Yes.
Sir,
No, sir.
in circle figure, you have said that we have to extend the line 2 centimeter. Then actually this will be 20 millimeter.
Yes, yes. I should not say 2 centimeter, I should say 20 mm. See, normally we are used to with centimeters. Every time we are having a scale, we are used to with centimeters. Draw 10 centimeter line, draw 20 centimeter line. But in drawing, we will always represent each and every dimension in terms of mm. Even if in the question it is written in centimeter, you have to express in your drawing in terms of mm. Except first assignment, first problem. That I will tell you why in first assignment, first problem, I am not talking about mm. Why I am talking about centimeter, meter, kilometer, you will come to know in the next class. Is it okay so far?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I
Yes.
think 3 p.m. I am left with 5 more minutes. So let me check whether the next slide is possible to complete in 5 minutes or not. Okay. Yes, it is possible. Fine. Next slide will tell you about the dimensioning concept. That means how to give a dimension to any object which you have drawn. Generally, in drawing, we use two type of dimensioning. Either you can use aligned system of dimensioning or you can use unidirectional system of dimensioning. What is aligned system and what is unidirectional system? See, drawing has been drawn. This is a drawing. Fine. Both the drawing are similar, but they differ in dimension. This figure 3.12, in this we have used aligned system of dimensioning. In figure 3.13, we have used unidirectional system of dimensioning. Now, what is aligned system? Assume that this end is A, this end is B. Distance between A and B is how much? 50 mm. So in aligned system, how we will designate? From end A, I will draw an extension line. This is an extension line. From end B, I will draw an extension line. In between the two extension line, I will draw a dimension line. This is your dimension line, having two arrowheads at the extreme end. This is one arrowhead. This is the second arrowhead. Then exactly at the middle portion above this dimension line, you have to write 50. Exactly at the middle portion above this dimension line, you have to write 50. So this is aligned system of dimensioning. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
What is the change in unidirectional system? The change is in between you have to break. At the middle portion, just erase some portion of this dimension line, you erase it. Then over here you write 50 and then continue this line. This is unidirectional system. This is aligned system. Is the difference clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
See, from this end to this end, 20, how we have drawn? Extension line, dimension line. Just above this dimension line at the midpoint, I have written 20. But in unidirectional system, what you will do? Draw the extension line, draw the extension line, draw the dimension line. At the midpoint of this dimension line, erase it by your eraser to some distance. In between, write 2020. This is aligned system. So this is about the horizontal dimensioning. What is the vertical dimensioning? If any vertical distance is given to you, how you will dimension it? by aligned system and unidirectional system? Let us see. Who is joining? Amrit sir, if somebody is joining, please don't allow him. Okay. What is about the vertical dimensioning? Vertical dimensioning is assume that this is point A and this is point B. This is point B. Fine. Vertical distance is 30 mm. In aligned system, how we will do it? I will draw the extension line. I will draw the extension line. I will draw the dimension line just above the dimension line. That means left hand side. Because if you go to right hand side, that is below the dimension line. If you go to left hand side, that is above the dimension line, exactly at the midpoint. Vertically, you have to write like this 3 0. You cannot write 3 0 like this. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is correct. Is it clear? Is it
So this
clear?
is in aligned system,
Yes,
right?
sir.
This is aligned system. In
Okay.
unidirectional system, how to give the same dimension? If this is point A, if this is point B, distance between vertical distance between A and B is 30 mm. Then from this end, draw the extension line. From this end, draw the extension line. In between, draw the dimension line. But in unidirectional system, exactly at the midpoint of the dimension line, erase it. After erasing it, write in between 3 0. Now see the how I have written. Here I have written 3 0 vertically. Here I have written 3 0 horizontally. So in unidirectional system, you have to write vertically. If you are following aligned system, you have to write like this. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
But if you want to give dimension to the circle, see, dimension to the circle is same in both the system. Dimension to a circle is same. If you want to give any dimension to a circle, it is same in both the system. Whether you are following aligned system or you are following unidirectional system, which I have told you in the previous slide. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The last thing which I will discuss in today's class is this. See, you have drawn this arrowhead. You have drawn this arrowhead. Again, there is a rule to draw this arrowhead. You cannot use or you cannot draw any type of arrowhead. Arrowhead will be how? You just draw an arrowhead, a very point, very sharp like a knife. Very sharp like a knife. Fine. And then just darken it. Done? Remember the length of the arrow. This is length of the arrow and this is height of the arrow. Length to height ratio you have to maintain always in the ratio 3:1. Length to height ratio always you have to maintain it 3:1. That means if I have taken length of the arrow head to be 1 centimeter, then can you tell me what will be the height of this arrowhead if you follow this concept?
0.33 centimeter.
If the length of the arrowhead is 0.7 centimeter, then what will be the height of this arrowhead?
So 0.23 something.
Yes, this you have to remember. But make sure length should not exceed more than 1 centimeter. Make sure all the time length of the arrowhead should not exceed more than 1 centimeter. See, this length should not exceed more than 1 centimeter throughout the case. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Height to length ratio is 3 is to
Yes,
1.
always 3 is to 1. And that to remember one thing, this length should not exceed more than 1 centimeter. That means 10 mm. Should not exceed more than 10 mm. Is it clear to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So with this, I am ending today's class. Don't worry, I will give the recorded lecture in your Google Classroom by day end. From the next class onwards, we will start our first assignment by keeping in mind all these concepts. Okay,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
fine.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay, so you please leave the meeting and join the software drawing class. In that software drawing class, at some point of time, Google Form link will be circulated. Please fill up that link. We will be cross checking both the attendance, this manual attendance as well as that Google Form link. Accordingly, you will get the attendance of this class. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Welcome.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Bye, sir.